State, and I know she has tried long in this struggle to the Secretary to the State Government. The young people, the youth of Ogoni, especially those of MOSOP, the elders here present, our spiritual leaders, Professor Ben Nani, gentlemen of the press, our women, ladies and gentlemen. Today, when I woke up, I came downstairs to eat breakfast with my minister, and when we sat down, I suddenly looked at myself and I saw this shawl. And I said, you know, now that I'm looking at it, it's black and it's green. So maybe this is the Niger Delta. The green is what it should be. The black is the oil that we have to clean up. So it's not intentional, but it is significant that we have a very big job to do, and I pray by the end of the administration of President Muhammad Buhari that when I come next time, that what I will be doing is taking off this shawl, that the Niger Delta will be green. Green. People of Ogoniland, today we are in celebration, and the celebration is that this is the beginning of the end of the struggle. It is also one of hope for the people of Ogoniland, and it is about a new dawn for the people of Ogoniland. So therefore, for me, it is a humbling experience that this launch that we propose to have of the cleanup of Ogoniland, that was promised in the campaign of President Muhammad Buhari, would be given to me and my Minister of State as a responsibility to start. Mr. President has constantly been eager in his desire to actualize his promise. He's always asking us, when are we going to launch? But let me tell you that the pre-activities that we want to start today is the last mile to the end of the struggle. It will be the most difficult last mile for us to get to the end of the struggle. Therefore, we need everyone to stand united. The issues, the challenges, the injustice, those who have lost their lives to the struggle did it in the name of the unity and peace and prosperity for Ogoniland. And that's what we must fight for. Peace, unity and prosperity for Ogoniland. We have heard of the history, the discovery of oil in the Niger Delta in 58, the environment that has been degraded, been abused, people's loss of life, the destruction of our lands. In response to the environmental degradation, the Ogoni and indeed the entire Niger Delta have been sensitized to resist environmental degradation and destruction of the environment, leading to what we saw as the enactment of the Ogoni Bill of Rights. This is the foundation on which anything else has been built in the struggle for what is right in Ogoniland. Unfortunately, over the years, the response by government, by oil companies, by those in a position of leadership has only increased the problems and made the challenges even more persistent. Such that today, no one can say that the issues of Ogoniland and the Niger Delta with the oil pollution are simple. They are protracted, they are very complex. There is no one answer for any of the challenges that you have. And it is as a result of years of injustice, of a lack of trust, of bridges that have been broken, and one that from the beginning of the cleanup, we must also think about rebuilding. Rebuilding those bridges between government and the people, between our traditional rulers and the people, between our politicians and politicians and politicians and the people. Ultimately, we must unite to be one family. I'd like at this point to recognize, just as we did in the 1-minute silence, that all would not be possible today if not for the fallen heroes. For the Ogoni, the team that we talk about, but also for those that still are alive to witness today, and to really thank them for the sacrifices they made. This morning in the traditional ruler's palace in Ginawa, His Royal Majesty, Senator Magnus Abe reminded us that in fact what we are talking about is how we can all unite behind peace, and that what has happened in our environment today needs us for once to put our hands together so that we can forge the success of the struggle. It will be recalled that in 2006, when the UNEP report was commissioned, it was delivered in 2011. 2 weeks ago, the man who brought the report from UNEP to the government of Nigeria reminded me that they're still waiting for the implementation. So this is not just a Nigerian issue, it's an international issue. The report has highlighted much. Since I came to office with my Minister of State, the one thing that we have found unity around is the UNEP report. And we commit that it is the UNEP report that we will begin to implement in the next few weeks. And the UNEP report talks about the first step of any cleanup begins in Ogoniland. The beginning of that cleanup means that there will be a lot of responsibility for the people of Ogoniland. You will have to set the standards of what it means to clean up the land, to clean up the sea, to clean up the creeks, to look at the air that we breathe, and to ensure that any other cleanup in any other part of the Niger Delta begins with the standards that you set to keeping Ogoniland clean the day after we begin the cleanup. We must protect the land. It is ours. It is ours for peace, for prosperity. The President of MOSOP asked that we put Ogoni wetlands on the list Ramsar. You cannot do that if the land itself continues to be dirty after the cleanup, continues to have pollution, continues to have the insecurity that we have. So there are responsibilities on all sides. The attempts to change words into actions and to meet your expectations are long. So even the speech that I made today, many of you will say you heard it before. So what is different? Well, the change is that you have to call us to account. The change is that anyone who has asked me to come and see them in Abuja on Ogoniland matters, the Minister and I have not done that. We have come to Ogoniland because this is where the problem is, this is where we need to resolve the issues. So what we would like to assure you is that the pre-activities over the next few weeks before the launch is a further engagement to talk, to understand what it is that we are going to do specifically in the Ogoni report. What are the actions? How will you be involved? What will your responsibility be? What will it be of the oil companies? What will it be of government? This is not about sharing. This is about participating, engaging, and ensuring that when people say they're coming to clean up Ogoni, you are part of that cleanup and it is clean. Activities immediately after the launch, and the President, by God's grace, will be here to launch this program. Activities after the launch, nothing will happen immediately. There is so much that we have to do, so much that we have to understand, but if we do it with you, and we're communicating with you, I believe that journey will be taken together. This is a journey of another 20 years to right the wrongs and the injustice of the past. When they say Rome wasn't built in a day, it's easy to destroy. It's very difficult to rebuild. To rebuild people's lives, to rebuild people's minds, to rebuild the infrastructure and the land around. So let me say that at this juncture, under the leadership of President Muhammad Buhari, beyond the cleanup is what the President of MOSOP talked about. What is your role beyond? What is your role in the economy? How do we talk about a livelihood, jobs for everyone, so that there is hope, so that young people are not easy fodder for those that want to break the law or those that want to lead people astray? What we want to do is to ensure that there is less dependency on oil, there are new horizons, that there is life after and beyond oil. There was in the Niger Delta before, there should be as we go forward. We have three main concerns as I come to my final words before I hope that we can have a discussion. The first is to really underscore that the disunity and discordant tones that we see in government today, we need to ensure that we have unity around the environmental degradation and what will follow. This is an opportunity to unify. It unifies our country. I'm from the northeast of Nigeria. Boko Haram is our problem. But ultimately, if we can give people justice, if we can stop the corruption, if we can ensure security, then we can begin to invest in our people. And that's what is important for the whole of the country. Our second problem, we're concerned by the recent violence and the loss of life and property. Let me just say that without peace, there can be no sustainable development. And without the both of them, we will not see a respect for human rights, which are yours. The third is that this administration is concerned about how to ensure that the Niger Delta does remain a place that we can encourage investors to come. The resources that we need to invest in the Niger Delta, in Nigeria, are considerable. And so therefore we must show that there are alternatives to what we have experienced over the last few years. I believe that this is possible if we work hand in hand. I extend the hand of partnership of His Excellency President Muhammad Buhari to all stakeholders. We will leave no one behind. And we will ensure there is a successful launch. We will commit 24/7 that the cleanup in Ogoni land should be a reality today and not in the far future. I assure you that we are waiting and listen to your frank and sincere consultations. What we want are solutions. We need to put the anger behind us and move forward in peace and unity. So I thank you very much for giving us the humble opportunity to be part of what is a historic day today. Let us turn that page forward and not back.